Hey everybody, Elida Zweidler-McKay with Engaging Leadership. I want to talk to you today about why having good functional experience or good functional expertise is simply not enough once you make your way up into the management ranks. Every day I talk to people whose careers have plateaued at that first or second level of management. They were great individual contributors. They worked hard and they developed their expertise in their fields. Their good work is what got them promoted. But now that they're in the management ranks, they found that their careers have kind of stalled out and they're not making the progress that they want to make. I mean, they're still working really hard. They put in long hours, they work evenings and weekends to try to keep up with everything. They make so many sacrifices. They're working instead of playing with their kids. They're working instead of exercising or eating healthy. They're working instead of spending time with their spouses. They're working, but it just doesn't ever seem to be enough to get that next promotion. And the reality is, it's not. What got them promoted is simply not enough now that they're managers, because being a great individual contributor is not the same as being a great leader. The functional expertise and the technical skills that earn those first few promotions are simply not the same as the skills that people need to really flourish as managers. And that means that those folks that are sort of working and not getting ahead are in an especially precarious position in today's market, because companies are starting to lay people off. They're starting to reduce staff. They're cutting hours. The people who will get to keep their jobs are the ones who are the most valuable to their organizations. And what's most valuable right now are people who can lead and inspire great performance in other people despite a global pandemic and everything that's happening around us. Keeping people focused and motivated is always a challenge, and right now it's especially challenging. People with the leadership skills who can pull that off are going to be extremely valuable. They're going to be the ones who are going to be moving forward, staying in their jobs, even potentially getting promotions despite the pandemic. So I want to talk to you today about what some of those skills are that need to be added to someone's toolkit as they're moving up the ladder in a corporation. One is having an authentic executive presence that people can trust. So right now, there is just a swirl of contradictory information and mistrust everywhere. It's in social media, it's in the news, it's about politics, it's about coronavirus. It's all around us. And right now, more than ever, people need leaders that they can trust and that they believe. That is critical to their sense of safety, both their physical safety as people are going back to work and kids are going back to school and everybody's kind of figuring out how things are going to work, but also to their emotional and psychological safety, to know that they're cared for, to know that they can believe what their manager is telling them. So having that authentic executive presence that people can trust is really critical right now. And the truth is, many managers don't feel that presence in themselves. They don't come across with that kind of confidence that inspires trust. And that means even if they have the confidence, it doesn't show up. And if they don't have the confidence, then it's even harder to have it shine through the way they want to. So that's the first piece. The second piece is having a clear and strategic vision. So one of the biggest challenges that I see people face as they move up that corporate ladder is the need to be more and more strategic. So with each step up the ladder, your view of the world has to stretch and expand so that you can be on the lookout for what's on the horizon and so that you can be preparing your team for that. Now, we're in a situation right now where the horizon is hazy and it can be hard to see what's coming. If you're pulled into day-to-day challenges on your team and like stuck in the day-to-day work, it will be even harder to rise above it and to see and prepare for what's next. Now, unfortunately, most people are promoted with very little training or support in how to do this. They don't have a vision that guides them. They don't know what to look for on that murky horizon. They don't have the strategic thinking skills that they need in order to make really powerful decisions. And all of these are really critical if they're going to be able to get above the fray and focus on what really matters and help their team to do the same. The third set of skills have to do with building strong partnerships. So individual contributors can get a lot done on their own. In fact, many of the people that I talk with have honed this way of working to a fine art. They would see a problem and swoop in to solve it, and that would win them all kinds of admiration and recognition for their efforts. For many, that's what got them promoted in the first place. But unfortunately, that's exactly the opposite of what you need to do once you're in the management ranks. Because as a manager, success is less about swooping in and more about how do you build the capacity of the people around you to be able to get more and more done. And unfortunately, again, very few companies are offering any specific training on how to do this. And finally, you need to create a performance culture. So top performers tend to have a natural drive to produce results. But that drive doesn't necessarily come naturally to everyone. And it can be really frustrating to lead a team of people who aren't as focused on results, who aren't as dedicated or as driven as you are. Knowing how to turn that around and how to get everyone rowing together is a really critical leadership skill. And it's needed now more than ever with all the distractions that everybody's facing. Look, organizations are in a crisis right now. Because there's very little training on these management and leadership skills, few people have them. And you can see evidence of that in the employee satisfaction data. And the problem is at all layers. Layers and layers of managers don't know how to do these things because no one's teaching them. And then because no one up or down the chain is learning it, there's no one to role model it for you. So whole cultures are being built, kind of generated out of people overworking and swooping in and disempowering their teams and fostering mistrust unintentionally with a punishing view of performance and metrics that can tend to be dehumanizing rather than motivating. And the shame of all of that is that it just does not have to be that way. Managers who've built these leadership skills are able to create really strong, thriving teams full of star performers. And as a result, they become extremely valuable to their organizations, which makes it less likely that they're going to be the next one up on the chopping block. So look, if you're feeling like your leadership and management skills aren't where they need to be to secure your future, they aren't where they need to be to handle this current situation, let's talk. We'll get on the phone for about 45 minutes and we'll look at where you are now in your career and we'll talk about where you want to go. And then we'll come up with a roadmap for you to get from here to there. Based on our conversation, if I can help you get there, I'll let you know and we'll talk about what that could look like. But if not, I'll point you to other resources who can. Either way, it's going to be one of the best hours you spend on your career. You can book that call at zmcoach.net/call. I look forward to talking to you soon. Take care.